What is good, YouTube? Quinway coming to y'all with an analysis tribute breakdown of Kareem Abdul Jabbar, aka Lou Alcindor, a guy that finished and changed the dunking rules in college and in the NBA because he was so long and so tall and so quick and so fast of getting the ball up and being a scorer as a center. And he was a great rebounder, solid rebounder as a center too, and being able to finish, with quickness, with style, also a soft finesse touch around the rim, and he was just very decisive of how he wanted to go up. Didn't rush, was very patient, very smart, and he battled for boards more than people thought. Even though he didn't really like the physicality too much, the length allowed him to do it or give him an advantage. Most people wasn't as tall as him or couldn't do the things that he can do because of his reach and his length with his arms, including his size with his body. But you seen how he used that to his advantage and made him one of a kind and a one of one just because of that. And he was style on you. If we had to be honest on you about it with the sky hook, I can put the ball so high up that you can't even contest it. I can angle my body a certain way so that way you can't even get in front of the ball or to the ball to either destroy me getting the ball in the basket or even contest it or put me off to an awkward position because I already know what to do because I can feel you behind me trying to tell me or dictate what you want me to do, and I can do the opposite and make an easier opportunity scoring the basketball. And it's just a masterful move and a masterful shot that he was even shooting it like a jump shot just because it was just that easy to have that much control of the ball and that type of determination to score the ball as much as he could. And he was the NBA leading scorer and all-time leading scorer for so many decades because of that ace of scoring and ease of scoring, just because he was just so masterful of how to release it and when to release it and just taking his time to make sure it was a highly efficient shot. And he did shoot it closer. It looked more like a layup because he was so long and so tall, but he can clear so much space with his footwork and his ability to confuse the opponent of when he's going to use it, when he's going to turn, and when he's going to go all in on when he wants to score with those type of shots. And people just didn't know what to do because of the matchup problems that he created. And I'm looking at Kareem and say, wow, this guy was just so good at knowing the game and knowing how to use his strengths and make it into a weakness to defenders, making him virtually unstoppable. And then him being the defender, you look at the fact that he was so quick and so long and so mobile, and he can always stay in front of you, even if you was trying to cut in front of him or trying to find a way to get around him. He would just lurk a little bit or stay close enough to pay attention to what you was trying to do that the blocks ended up happening the way that it needed to.
Being an NBA champion, going into another decade, being an NBA champion in the 80s and still having the longevity in the late 80s to still be a guy that can get you to the finals and help you become a champion. His ability to evolve just enough and adapt just enough to new teammates and still being able to do the simple things even as he got older because he was in great shape. He knew what he needed to do to deliver, and even looking at it, getting a finals MVP in 85 when he's a lot older and a lot more mature and a lot, different as a player. And then you look at the fact that he has 6 MVPs even in the 80s, a lot in the 90s, 71, 72, 74, 76, 77, repeating as MVP and still getting to the finals and getting it done. And then you look at the fact that he was a 19-time All-Star, showing you his consistency at being dominant and being a player that's needed and essential to the game, whether he's a player or off the court, making decisions that can change the world in general, and understanding that that's important. Being a 10-time All-NBA first-team player, second-team player 5-time, being a defensive player, like I said, he can protect the rim, he can dominate on the rebounds, and being a 5-time first team player and a 6-time defensive team player, being a rookie of the year, being able to deal with that pressure coming out of college to deliver and being one of the best players in the game and living up to that hype as being one of the most dominant players of the game. I can do it in high school, I can do it in college. Of course, I should be able to do it in the NBA, and him doing that not that long after being drafted, being a rebounding leader, being a scoring champion, and just being a guy that had the ability to do it on all levels, even when he got old, and he just got it done. Being a 4-time block leader was tough too, so many great players in the league, and you're competing against the Will Chamberlains and the Bill Russells and these guys, and you're showing that you can do it too. Even when the league changed a little bit as he got older, he was still able to play his game and do it his way and still do the same thing, even though his role changed, and being able to adjust and being nice and cool about his role changing just to win more championships and being a great teammate. Of course, he was on the 35th and 50th and 75th all anniversary teams. Of course, he was the greatest Buck ever at one point. Obviously, Giannis took that over, but at least he was able to dominate as a Milwaukee Buck, coming out as Lou Alcindor, and of course, doing the same thing with the Lakers and doing three-time NCAA championship, showing that he can dominate before coming into the league and being a outstanding player at college, showing you that this guy has everything that it needs to produce, at any level. And that's what a lot of people look at Kareem Abdul Jabbar as the greatest basketball player ever, because he was able to do it at every level and dominate for so many years at every level. And the fact that he had moves that you just couldn't stop or you just couldn't touch, and he was just smart enough to know this is what I need to do to get the job done, no matter who my teammates are. I'm just that good as a player that I can figure it out just like they can. We can talk about it. We can do it before we get on the court, and we can be able to compete with anybody and win championships. And he was able to do that on every level for multiple championships and multiple MVPs, and him being the main focal point of the offense or the main focal point of the defense, the backbone of defenses too, and being able to get it done that way too is something that the other great centers had to do before he came in, and he was able to do both of those things also. So he was able to put his name on the map because of that. But he was essential. He was critical to the 80s. He was a critical part of critical part of the 70s. And he just showed that he's essential to basketball culture, and he's essential to everything we look about when you put your heart, your body, your soul into the game, and you give it your all, and you do what you can do. You deal with the scrutiny, you deal with the criticism, you deal with the lack of what the NBA promoted at the time and what they ended up becoming, and him being a positive person of that, and him being one of the founding fathers, one of the pioneers of the game, and just ultimately changing the center position in college and high school, and also in the NBA. And it's easy to see these things because we done heard it, we done seen it before, and it's just fun to get my take in the summertime of what I thought, or what I felt, because people feel like it's essential to the game to know what I think too, as you can see on my channel. But he's a guy that's a trailblazer, and I wanted to give my ultimate respect to that. And of course, you've seen that he's in my top 10 still all-time greatest players ever, and it's hard not to put him on any list that has that in the conversation, because that's how good his career was at every level, and that's the respect and credit he deserves. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell. Quinn Wade with the basketball analysis breakdown tribute, signing out. Hope you guys enjoyed it.